Okay, so I think we have everybody here. And so Melissa, you got everybody? We have anybody online besides Melissa and Meredith? I can't see. That's why I'm having.
You can't see me?
No, I can't read the screen. Anyway, okay, shall we go on to approval of minutes?
Has the meeting been called to order?
Yes.
At what time?
Now
5:24? 5:24?
it's 5:31.
Huh. My computer is off. Sorry.
Okay. There were a couple of typos, but I was reading online, so I didn't mark them, but otherwise it looked fine.
Move to approve.
Second. All in favor, say aye. Aye.
I'm abstaining because I didn't attend the meeting.
Okay. So it's approved. 3 with 1 abstention being Meredith. So then I assume there's no communications and bills or consultant reports. And so we're on to changes in sewer use, if there are any, in the Public Works Director's report.
All right, well, welcome back, everybody. It's good to see everybody. Do have quite an update on the personnel issues down at the plant. We've had, since we last met, one new operator trainee has started. She's an entry-level operator position. We have another one that's being interviewed for an open position actually tomorrow. So hopefully that'll work out. We'll be fully staffed for the operations portion of it. We had a new mechanic trainee start, and we've had a new equipment operator start. So we're getting back up to speed with
Congratulations.
all those results. And then probably the bigger news is that on the operations supervisor, Harry's actually going to be going back to operations supervisor. He decided he wanted to go back to his old position, just fine, just voluntarily. So we will be advertising for assistant director.
Yeah, that's great.
That's really all I had.
Okay, thank you. So then, Harry, you want to walk through, I guess we have, what, 2 or 3 facility reports?
3, yeah. I'll lump them together. We did well on nitrogen. On all 3 months, we were below our permit. Yeah, actually, I'd say it's pretty smooth. Couple of the storms can't take the flow at over 10. But still. That's it. The numbers are there. Everything's good. No violations. Not having questions. Not any processes with the numbers.
would ask this before, but you were gonna modernize the lab at the plant, right?
Yeah, there was a project some time ago.
But completed.
No, it wasn't, all the estimates came in more than the budget was,
When I looked at all the different projects, I like, man, what happened to this? Okay.
It's on the shelf, huh?
And,
so the gravel street pump station is complete.
right,
And generators at Lestertown Road Pump Station and Burgess Park Pump Station are complete.
yeah, that's a typo actually in the August report. Says it's gonna be completed in June, but anyway. And at some point, I assume the next meeting or meeting thereafter, we'll hear about the Northwest Interceptor study.
Yep. Good. Also, we'll probably come to that.
Hopefully that provides something useful, or have you not, you all not seen it yet?
We saw the preliminary.
Okay. Hopefully that provides some useful information and capital. Okay, if there's nothing further, I don't have a chairman's report other than to say, yes, we're back in the meeting. Well, and next, the October meeting, we'll talk about this at the bottom. I'll probably have to do it virtually, but I may miss it because I'm having cataract surgery that day. Okay, shall we move on to old business and start with Beard and Mr. Chief?
Yeah, they did reach out to both those companies a week or two ago. I got back to the report. See, Beard is 100% complete with their installation of the manhole, everything. So they're just waiting to coordinate with Harry on getting the sampling device in there, so they can start doing the measurements. Mystic Cheese, they responded they were a couple weeks away from their first side streaming attempt, so that'll probably be either this week or next week. We scheduled a state inspector so they can observe it and give it their blessing. And provided that all works, we should be good to go. The issue with Mystic Cheese, and Harry will be still kind of working on it, is how we're going to sample it.
Right. Separate.
You don't have a separate manhole, so potentially you might be justifying another sampler in the manhole off the street so you can sample both at the same time.
Okay,
Seems cleaner,
But that,
seems cleaner in terms of trying to negotiate who's it's what.
yeah, and then, you know, wouldn't hurt for us to have a backup sample.
Is the sampler that you're saying you might buy, will that'll be telling you what's being, what both of them are.
Right.
So then
So
you
you
won't have
wouldn't
to
be able
use
to-
the initial one that you bought, you can save that. Is that
Yeah,
what
they
you're
both
saying?
be in at the same time,
Oh, okay.
because the one at Beard only samples beer.
Oh, I see, so you could subtract out, or you could.
Tracked out beer and then that.
Oh, okay, all right, so
Cool.
it's like having a separate meter.
Theory.
Right.
Okay,
Is that right here? I mean, that's.
That's probably best we can do it.
yeah. And it should work reasonably well, depending on what the numbers are, because when you're subtracting, you know, sometimes trying to get a difference on things.
Right, you want to try to catch the same slope.
Right.
and see.
You know, so it would be two devices to have both.
right.
And coordinating with each other.
be imperfect probably, but give us at least a reasonable estimate and then certainly enough information for us to decide whether there's still some significant problem to be addressed either in terms of their operations or our need to have better sampling data. Sort of my thought. I mean, we're much further along than we've been. It sounds like Mr. Chief must have gotten the stainless steel that he is and installed
It's all
all
been
that.
installed and everything.
Right.
Just
So,
waiting for some privacy expected from, agriculture. So-
right, yeah, because they have to be FDA. Okay, that sounds good. Any further questions on Sears or Mr. Chief? Meredith, you're being quiet. We heard you earlier, so I know we can't.
I'm listening. I have nothing to say. I have no questions to raise.
Okay, I just
Thank you.
wanted to be sure. Okay, so we're on to White's Sleep Shop.
I'll let Harry and Melissa talk about this because they're the ones who did all the research.
Okay.
So,
Well, let me just start. So my sort of vague recollection summary is he came in and requested we potentially adjust his sewer charges which are based on water usage numbers because there were some exceptionally high on the water usage.
right,
And I guess I will say that having thought about it since that meeting, and then I did read the emails, although I couldn't see the tables because they were too small on my phone. But you know, my sort of sense is that I'm very concerned about us thinking about adjustments, you know, because this is how we bill people, and it may be imperfect, but it's hard to understand where there's a basis for making adjustments. As far as I know, we have no past experience with this situation. So you guys go on and tell us what you found since the last meeting.
I have a question. You know how, okay, you're talking about a shopping center, right? How is the water usage for each location within the shopping center measured? Or is it allocated amongst?
if it's, I'm not sure if there were single meters on that. Or,
I can jump in and answer that if you want, Harry.
okay,
So every store in that plaza and the one behind it has their own separate water meter from Groton Utilities. And while I was checking, I went back and looked at all of the water meters for the whole plaza for the time around this spike and the other spikes, and all of them had average use just like they've had in months before and after. It was only this one water meter that had huge spikes.
Well, could that be because there's something wrong with like the plumbing or something? I mean,
Well, so I think this is where the email
Research.
traffic, the research.
right, so they paid the water bill.
right.
We didn't ask for any relief for the water bill. So something had to have been going on. They acknowledged that they paid the water bill.
And then after the fact, came back and said,
Well, they just didn't pay a sewer bill for it, so, but nobody's explained where the water.
Right, so when you say pay the water bill, you mean pay Groton Utilities water bill. And so, which obviously we have nothing to do with, except that it's the basis for us computing our charges.
Right.
And so then they came and asked us, and the email thing seemed to include some comment about that something was being done after,
Yeah,
in response to these unusual high charges, but it wasn't specified sort of what had been done to it at the location.
right.
So we're not charging for any amount of water that didn't go through, didn't go into the system.
We don't know, because they don't say anything about why they had that high water use. We don't know what it was for.
Right. But we know that there was high water usage, and the usage, we have nothing to do with. It's
They're correct.
Yeah.
Right, so, but
We had to handle that usage in our system.
Right.
So it seems to me that if there was a problem with the water, they should be going to Groton Utilities rather than us. I mean, if there is some kind of,
Are they saying this happened to them?
they're not saying anything.
Yeah.
They had really high water usage. They paid it. They said there was some work done. We don't know. what the
So-
work was. We don't know where the water went.
May I ask a question?
Please, go ahead.
Was there anything unusual at the time in the sewerage system? Anything that would have, that can correlate with this high water spike?
Well, the water spike is in the incoming water provided by Groton Utilities.
I understand that. Okay.
Right, and the water flow from any one usage, even with these unusually high numbers, wouldn't impact the plant in a measurable way, I don't imagine, right there.
I
And
think-
so, we don't know anything on the sewer side. We just know what the water usage was.
I guess what I did not understand completely is why the WPCA would be concerned about this. There was a high water usage. It's Groton Utilities customer, they paid the bill. Why is the WPCA concerned, especially if you didn't see something weird coming out in the sewerage at that
Because-
time?
It came to us to ask, the last meeting, to ask us to defer their responsibility. Sorry.
Yeah.
They came to the commission to say, this is a really high bill, can we have some consideration?
And again, why would they come to the WPCA?
that's a good question.
But we base our bill on the water usage.
Right, but,
So we have to assume all the water that goes into the building
Of course.
goes out through our
Of
system.
course.
right, but I'm
Right.
sure it did. I mean, if it came in, it must have gone out, right? I mean,
Unless they're kind of.
the way, do I understand this correctly? It seems to me that basically what happened here is that if there was high water usage caused by some issue other than the customer's use of the water, that it was an issue of the water coming into the system, not something that was
Going
caused
into
by
the sewer system.
going into the sewer system. That the water that was coming in that shouldn't have been coming in had to go out. So
And we
if
had
you're
to
gonna,
process it.
right, and so if you're gonna look for a deal or a break on the bill, you ought to go to Groton Utilities if they're the ones who are responsible for putting too much water in the system.
Okay, so it seems like we're all in the same place. I guess my question is, do we need to have a motion about the matter, or, I'm not sure sort of how we need.
Consensus or motion to deny the request.
Well,
Yeah.
might as well be formal about it. I move that we deny the request for an alteration in the bill for the Weiss police truck.
I second that motion.
All in favor?
I
Aye. Okay, so that passes unanimous.
Now, who has to tell them?
You can blame it on us.
Right.
Well, I think we
That's the
would
vision.
need a much more complete story to
Yeah.
understand why the, the sewer bill. And there's certainly possible situations I could imagine where the water coming in doesn't actually go out to the, to the.
Yeah, that's
Watering
usual
your
out-
lawn or something like that.
Yeah, if you're watering your lawn, exactly, something.
They don't have a law.
Right,
Right.
no, I
I know,
understand.
well, you know,
So
I can't imagine
anyway,
that it couldn't, it have to be within the system.
Right.
Where else could it go?
I
Well,
don't know.
unless they were filling big water tanks for their own personal use.
Yeah, whatever, so
Or-
we would need to.
It is a sleep shop, maybe they were filling, water beds.
Right.
Huh?
So we would just need a much more complete story to understand why we should even consider adjusting the sewer bill. And I think it's a challenge given we have no previous history of making these kinds of adjustments. So hopefully that helps you out a bit, Harry, in terms of communicating. Okay, shall we move on to revisions of the ordinance? Where that stands.
We had a lot of good comments last time, and I think we talked about the grinder pumps and sunsetting that. If you get a chance to look into what other towns are doing that or have done that, we want to get some of that language.
Okay.
Hopefully.
There's a whole range of what other towns do. Some towns don't do anything, they need a grinder pump, it's on the homeowner. Some of them will drop a grinder pump in the front yard and homeowner to put in. Some of them will put in a whole system and maintain it. Montville does that, and they're sunsetting that policy also. They started about 10 years ago and have cut the town on almost about half. So there's any option you can think of is.
So I guess we have two issues in my mind in terms of the residential as opposed to the commercial. And those are, there's the existing grinder pumps, and so I think we had talked about that upon sale of the property, those would become the responsibility of the new owners and would no longer be our responsibility. I don't remember if that's captured in the minutes or not. And then I guess the other issue is, were we proposing any changes in terms of new installations, which I guess would only be for new construction?
Well, right, for new construction, but I think it might be wise to limit what that means. If somebody has a parcel of land, splits it into 20 lots, you know, 20 grinder pumps. So,
Well, historically, we would have, right?
I'm not sure any of them happened like that, but I mean, there's nothing to prevent that. So, I mean, I think there's some way to limit it to lots that, a lot that existed at time when the town put the sewer in. Might be a-
Right. So my vague recollection is when we talked about this, it seemed like an area where the town attorney needed to be consulted to make sure that whatever we did was, you know, legally right. Offensive. We weren't sort of taking people's property or whatever,
Yeah,
devaluing whatever.
so there's also some commercial use, there's a car wash being built at the top of Groton Connecticut.
Yeah.
And there's, they demoed the houses that were there, there's a town of grinder pump there. And there's some speculation about using that. Providing a car wash.
I'll have to check this up, but I don't think, I recall that was, when it got approval for site plan, no, that was, they had to play it. Right.
This is the one up by Applebee's.
Yeah.
It's sort of on the top of the hill. I wouldn't be that surprised there was a grinder pump there.
Could they connect to the solar?
Car wash?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, they will.
Yeah, so car washes typically have a recirculation system, so
Oh.
they save water, they go through a bunch of filters and pumps, so they don't really put a lot of water into them versus.
Yeah.
It's,
So why would they want the grinder?
Well,
Isn't
they're-
it grinder pump or connect to the sewer?
No, the grinder pump is the pump from the low
Oh, okay.
to a higher. But as I say, I'm a little perplexed where on that side is
I don't know,
low.
it falls off the roof there.
Yeah, I guess,
Yeah.
sort of as you go back. Okay. Because there's also gonna be a new, car wash down, well,
We
there's
know
the
where
one
the
opposite me, right,
Oh.
opposite my house, or my
Really?
street.
That's a big fancy one
Yeah.
between the car dealerships.
Yeah.
That's quite elaborate.
Well,
Yeah,
Mm.
they seem to be doing a nice job of landscaping on the Pleasant Valley
Yes.
side. It's a little hard to see because the fence is still up, but, and I'm sure it'll have to grow in. And then there's gonna be one where the smoke shop is.
Yeah.
So,
And what's going in front of TJ Maxx?
On the corner of William Street there,
Kind of. Up,
Yeah,
like next
next,
to M&T Bank.
There used to be a grinder place there, remember years ago? Right?
the hill, put up the hill on the right there,
Yeah.
that's a gas station convenience store.
And what's going in across from Papa?
Oil change.
Oil.
Everything's car centric in this town. All of this oil change, gas station.
Okay, all right, so I think that's
So we need to come up with some language and have the town attorney.
the grant pumps, and that, I guess, the information you have from other towns could be helpful to them. It's that,
Well, maybe what would make it work better is if we told the town attorney what it is we want to have in the ordinance and have him or her draft it, rather than us coming up with the language and asking the town attorney to say if it's okay. You know, if we tell them what the objective is, he's probably more capable than we are of writing up a statute.
okay,
That
so
makes sense to me.
thanks. So I guess the question for Harry and Greg is whether you think you have enough information from us on this grinder pump issue to move forward, or this,
Ultimately, you want to-
we'll have to
That's all
review it.
Yeah, but you're ultimately want to get rid of the grinder.
I bet you would too.
Yeah.
Okay, anything else on the ordinance at this point?
No. That was the last piece.
Okay. So We don't have any new business. No, okay, then, our next meeting is October 8th, and
I think we should just say I won't be there.
yeah, I think you need to plan that I won't be there.
Well, what if we
I mean,
change the date? What if we made it a week later? Do you think you'd be able to?
well, let's see. Yeah,
Oh, that you're having other surgery.
well, no, the other eye is 2 weeks late. So October 8th. Yes, I could do the 15th if people want to move the meeting. That works with you all.
Yeah, we'll just make a
Works
special
for me.
meeting, that's fine.
Okay, do we need to make a motion to change meeting date?
Yeah, just so that we have it.
Okay. So I move to move the meeting date to October 15th at 5:30.
Second.
Okay, Meredith seconds, all in favor, aye?
Aye.
All in favor, so our next meeting will be the 15th. That works for you, Melissa?
Thank you.
And so we need a motion to adjourn.
So move.
Thank you, second,
I'll second it.
all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
What's the time? I don't
Yeah.
trust I have
Oh.
5:55. Is that the time of adjournment?
So,
6:02.
I'm sorry, say it again.
6:02.
Thank you.